Jack, a 35-year-old programmer living in a quiet suburb of Seattle, was enjoying an uneventful evening when his calm world was interrupted. His golden retriever, Buddy, normally the picture of tranquility, was barking loudly in the yard. The unusual commotion made Jack pause in the middle of cooking dinner. Concerned, he wiped his hands on a towel and stepped out onto the porch. Buddy was near the lilac bush, growling and barking at something hidden within the dense foliage. Curious, Jack approached, his eyes scanning the area until they landed on a small, trembling creature. It was pink, completely bald, and roughly the size of a large rat. Its pitiful squeaks tugged at Jack's heartstrings. At first, he wasn't sure what it was. A rabbit? Some kind of rodent? Regardless, it looked frightened and fragile. Carefully pushing the branches aside, Jack crouched to get a better look. The creature didn't resist as he gently scooped it up. It felt warm and delicate in his hands, its tiny body quivering with fear. Jack's heart softened. Whatever it was, it needed help. Back inside his cozy house, Jack fashioned a temporary shelter for the mysterious animal using a cardboard box and a soft towel. Unsure of its dietary needs, he set out 2 saucers, one with water and the other with warm milk. The little creature hesitated but eventually lapped up some milk. Jack watched it with a mixture of curiosity and concern. That night, Jack found it hard to sleep. Questions swirled in his mind. What kind of animal had he found? Was it a baby? Was it injured or simply abandoned? The mystery of his strange visitor consumed his thoughts. By morning, Jack decided he needed answers. He called his friend, Sam Baker, a veterinarian who ran a clinic in town. When Jack described the bald, pink creature, Sam was intrigued and suggested bringing it in for an examination. Jack placed the tiny animal back in its makeshift nest and carefully drove to Sam's clinic, hoping for some clarity. At the clinic, Sam greeted Jack warmly but was visibly curious about the small ox Jack carried. "Let's see what you've got here," Sam said, donning his gloves. When Jack revealed the creature, Sam's eyes widened in disbelief. "Well, I'll be," he muttered, leaning closer to examine it. The vet gently held the little animal, turning it over to inspect its unusual appearance. "Jack, this is no ordinary rabbit, or rodent for that matter," Sam said, his tone tinged with astonishment. "I've never seen anything quite like this." Sam explained that while the creature bore some resemblance to a rabbit, its anatomy was distinct. Its skin was unusually smooth, its ears shorter than typical rabbits, and its eyes had an almost otherworldly quality. It might be a rare genetic mutation or something entirely new, Sam speculated. He ran a few tests, drawing blood and taking measurements while the creature remained surprisingly calm. Jack watched intently, his curiosity growing by the second. "Could it be some kind of exotic pet that escaped?" Jack asked. Sam shook his head. "Possibly, but its features don't match any known species. This might be something unique." The results of the preliminary tests only deepened the mystery. The creature's DNA didn't align perfectly with any known animal. It shared similarities with rabbits but also had markers that were unidentifiable. "This is incredible," Sam said, clearly fascinated. "You might have stumbled upon something very special." Jack's emotions shifted from curiosity to a sense of responsibility. This little creature, whatever it was, had found its way to him for a reason. Sam gave Jack advice on how to care for the animal, suggesting a specialized diet and monitoring its behavior closely. He also advised keeping the find discreet until they could learn more. Over the next few weeks, Jack became deeply attached to his unusual guest, which he affectionately named Pinky. Pinky grew stronger and began to exhibit behavior that further baffled Jack. It was highly intelligent, responding to his voice and even performing small tasks like nudging objects or following simple commands. As word of Jack's discovery slowly spread among close friends, a few wildlife specialists reached out, eager to study Pinky. Jack, however, was cautious, wanting to ensure the creature's safety above all else. Sam remained a key ally, helping Jack navigate the challenges of caring for a potentially groundbreaking discovery. The experience profoundly changed Jack. What had started as a chance encounter became a journey of wonder and responsibility. Pinky's mysterious origins remained unsolved, but Jack realized that the true miracle was the bond they had formed. Jack carefully placed the bald, pink cub into a large bag and headed to the vet clinic, his mind swirling with questions about the unusual creature. At the clinic, Dr. Sam Baker was visibly intrigued when Jack revealed the tiny animal. The bald, wrinkled creature looked nothing like any typical patient Sam had seen before. After a moment of surprise, Sam agreed to examine the mysterious cub. He measured its dimensions, weighed it, and listened to its heartbeat. Everything seemed normal, yet entirely unusual. Sam's expression grew increasingly perplexed as he completed his observations. "Jack, I've never seen anything quite like this," he admitted. "It could be the offspring of some exotic rodent, but I can't pinpoint the species." To ensure the cub's health, Sam ran several tests, including an X-ray, which confirmed that the creature was in good physical condition. Despite its strange appearance, the cub was healthy. However, Sam emphasized that it would need specialized care and feeding to thrive. He provided Jack with a special milk formula and carefully demonstrated how to use a pipette for feeding. Grateful for the guidance, Jack decided to temporarily house the cub at his home until more information about its origins could be uncovered. He purchased a small cage and equipped it with all the essentials: soft bedding, a feeding station, and a heating pad to keep the tiny creature warm. Inspired by the cub's pink, hairless skin, Jack affectionately named it Pinky. The first few days were exhausting for Jack. Pinky needed to be fed every 2 hours, even through the night. Jack, determined to care for his new ward, set alarms and carefully administered the milk formula with the pipette. He was meticulous, ensuring the cub was comfortable and well fed. His golden retriever, Buddy, showed a surprising interest in the new housemate, often sitting attentively by Pinky's cage, observing the little creature with gentle curiosity. As the days went by, Pinky began to grow stronger and more active. It eagerly drank the formula and started exploring its surroundings within the cage. Jack noticed faint, sparse hairs beginning to sprout on Pinky's skin, a promising sign of development. He regularly sent photos and videos to Dr. Baker, seeking advice and updates on how best to care for the enigmatic animal. After a week, Jack decided that Pinky was strong enough to venture outside the cage for short periods. He created a safe, enclosed area in the living room, ensuring it was free of hazards. Pinky's curiosity blossomed as it explored the space, its tiny paws moving with endearing determination. The cub's movements were clumsy but spirited, bringing a smile to Jack's face. One day, Jack was startled to find an unexpected scene. Pinky had climbed onto Buddy's back and nestled comfortably in the dog's thick fur. Buddy lay still, patient and unbothered by his new passenger. The sight was so heartwarming that Jack couldn't resist capturing the moment in photos. It was clear that Buddy had accepted Pinky as part of the household. As the days turned into weeks, Pinky continued to grow and develop. Its body gradually became covered in soft, sparse fur, and its once closed eyes were now fully open, revealing a sharp, curious gaze. Jack began to notice intriguing physical traits, particularly Pinky's unusually large front paws, tipped with sharp claws. The more Pinky grew, the more Jack wondered what kind of creature he was caring for. Dr. Baker shared Jack's curiosity and began consulting with colleagues and poring over scientific literature in an effort to identify the species. Despite their efforts, Pinky remained an enigma. None of the descriptions matched its appearance or behavior. It was as if Pinky didn't belong to any known category of animals. Pinky's personality flourished alongside its physical growth. It was playful, intelligent, and increasingly attached to Jack and Buddy. It developed a unique habit of climbing onto Buddy's back whenever it had the chance, much to the dog's quiet amusement. Jack marveled at the bond forming between the two animals, finding joy in their unlikely companionship. Despite the unanswered questions surrounding Pinky's origins, Jack found himself deeply attached to the creature. The initial mystery had turned into an adventure of discovery and care. Each day brought new surprises, from Pinky's physical changes to its playful antics. Even as the search for answers continued, Jack realized that Pinky had become an irreplaceable part of his life. The journey was far from over, but Jack knew one thing for certain: Pinky, whatever it might be, had brought a sense of wonder and purpose into his quiet world. And for now, that was enough. Pinky's antics grew more mischievous as the days went on. Jack often woke up to strange noises coming from the living room in the middle of the night. Each time, he discovered that Pinky had somehow escaped its cage and wreaked havoc. The little creature had a knack for climbing furniture, knocking over objects, and even figuring out how to open drawers. Frustrated but amused, Jack tried reinforcing the cage, adding extra locks to keep his mischievous pet contained. But Pinky proved to be a master escape artist, a tiny Houdini who could outwit even the most secure mechanisms. Eventually, Jack resigned himself to the nightly escapades, though he made sure to safeguard anything fragile or important. 2 weeks after Jack had first found Pinky, he was jolted awake one night by an incredibly loud commotion coming from downstairs. It sounded as if an entire gang of burglars had broken into his home. Adrenaline surged through him as he grabbed a baseball bat and crept down the stairs, his heart pounding. What he found in the living room left him speechless. The room was in complete disarray, furniture overturned, books scattered across the floor, and the curtains hanging in tatters. It looked as if a mini hurricane had torn through the space. But amidst the chaos, Jack's attention was drawn to the strangest sight of all. Pinky was sitting in the middle of the room, accompanied by 2 more bald cubs. Towering over them was a large furry animal resembling an oversized guinea pig. Jack froze, his eyes wide with disbelief. The large animal turned its head toward him and let out a low, warning growl. Fear gripped him as he instinctively backed away, careful not to provoke the creature. He slipped out of the room and quietly shut the door behind him, his hands trembling as he fumbled for his phone. He dialed Dr. Baker, his voice urgent as he explained the bizarre situation. "Sam, you have to come over. Right now," he pleaded, barely able to keep his thoughts straight. Despite the late hour, the veterinarian agreed, intrigued by Jack's description of the scene. While waiting for Sam, Jack kept a cautious eye on the animals through a crack in the door. The large, furry creature, which he guessed was the mother, was gently licking the cubs, including Pinky. The sight was strangely tender, though Jack remained on edge. Pinky seemed completely at ease with the others, as if it had finally found its family. After what felt like an eternity, Sam arrived with a tranquilizer and a sturdy net, prepared for any aggression. Jack quickly filled him in, and together they cautiously entered the living room. The sight that greeted Sam stopped him in his tracks. His initial shock gave way to an unexpected burst of laughter. "I can't believe I didn't figure it out sooner," Sam exclaimed, slapping his forehead. "These are wombats." Jack stared at his friend, dumbfounded. "Wombats? What are wombats doing in Seattle?" Sam explained, still chuckling, that they were looking at an Australian wombat, a mother with 3 cubs, one of which was clearly Pinky. Somehow, these animals, native to Australia and thousands of miles from their natural habitat, had found their way to Jack's home. The veterinarian approached the wombat mother slowly, speaking to her in a calming tone. Surprisingly, the animal showed no aggression. She watched them warily but didn't make any move to attack or flee. Jack stood by, astonished at how calm she seemed, especially given the chaos she and her cubs had caused just moments before. Sam carefully examined the animals, confirming that they were healthy and unharmed. "Jack, this is incredible," he said. "It's a miracle they've survived out here. They must have escaped from someone keeping them illegally. Wombats are protected animals, They don't belong anywhere near Seattle. Overwhelmed, Jack listened as Sam explained the next steps. The Wombats would need to be reported to the local wildlife authorities, who would work with specialists to safely relocate them to a sanctuary or back to their natural habitat. For now, though, they would stay with Jack, who had clearly done a remarkable job caring for Pinky. As they discussed the logistics, Jack couldn't help but feel a bittersweet pang. Pinky, his unexpected and mischievous houseguest, had brought so much chaos but also so much joy. Watching the cub snuggle with its family, Jack realized that this was where it truly belonged. Still, he vowed to cherish the short but extraordinary time he had spent with the little escape artist that had turned his quiet life upside down. Sam confirmed the Wombats were healthy but underweight, suspecting they had escaped illegal traffickers. Jack realized the noises in his basement were from the Wombat family hiding there, with Pinky venturing out first. Sam contacted the Wildlife Protection Center, and the team safely relocated the animals, assuring Jack they would be cared for and returned to Australia. Authorities investigated it and uncovered a trafficking ring, shocking Jack and inspiring him to volunteer at the center. Over time, Pinky and its siblings thrived and were eventually sent back to their natural habitat. Jack received photos of them in an Australian reserve, smiling as he realized how much the experience had changed him, sparking a lifelong passion for wildlife protection.